the bag work about an apartment 5B.
You're now tuned into the Apartment 5B podcast, where we chop it up about hip-hop, R&B, sports, love and life. Hosted by Kill.
What's good? You to the Apartment 5B podcast hosted by your man, Kill. I got my squad with me, as always. My sister, the co-host, everything for it.
How's it going, Kill?
Everything is good. Just another day trying to, make it out. You know what I mean? My brother Vern out the ATL. What is going on, good brother?
La 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 la. I'm good, man. How y'all doing?
Yo, everything is dope, man. Everything is dope, man. Y'all know me. Let's get right into it, man. So the last show we did, we were talking about, I don't even know how we got on the topic of it. It was basically me and Ev arguing for 90 minutes. And somewhere through those arguments came the whole, if Pusha T stopped rapping about drugs, but people still like it. Then it's crazy because I was at homecoming this week up at Morgan, and people like on campus like, yo, Kill, the last episode, yo, man, yo, I don't know, Pusha, like it even on Twitter, it was like, everybody was like, nah, I'll be good with Pusha, going that way. And it was funny because then I'm like, well, how'd y'all like the Malice albums? Niggas like, Malice had albums? I'm like, yeah, too, but neither here nor there. So today we're going to be looking at MCs who have changed their styles throughout their career. We're going to talk about if their fan bases rock with them or not, and like where they went wrong. Like, because I know we all say it, and I know the three of us truly mean it when we say we don't want to keep any artist in a box. I think at the end of the day, it's just like, just still make it dope. So I think maybe the problem is if that's the thing, then if all these artists are changing, why are they changing, but they're not able to make it dope? And I love this right here because Vern is in the ATL, so he could represent the South, portions in Vancouver, that's up north and kind of Cali-ish. Because maybe just the people I rock with up north, maybe somebody in the ATL still like some of these people. So I love this joint. And then I got a couple of other changes that that's kind of different at the end to talk about that too. But let's get right into it. The first person I'm talking about, because I brought it up on Twitter, I said, y'all can't trick me because I was there when this happened. Q-Tip, the abstract poet incognito. When that mofo came out, been vibrant there. You know what I mean? I will never forget. I was at 88.9. The vinyl came in. We was all hyped as hell. Like, yo, this is the Q-Tip solo album we've been waiting our whole life for. Put that needle, and we heard Vibrant Thing. We was all in there like stuck on stupid. Like, yo, what? Yo, this is not what we wanted. And then Breathe the Stop came, and it was like, whoa, and then the videos came with the half-naked girls in the videos and Hype Williams doing the videos. And I said this on Twitter, and everybody's reaction was one of two things. Either the video was dope or those songs banged in the club. And it kind of lined up perfectly to what Porsche was talking about the week prior about, do we allow record sales to dictate what's dope to us? And it kind of was like, when did we ever look at the club to tell us if Tribe was dope to us? So you telling me it banged in the club means absolutely nothing to me. You know what I mean? Like, and the only reason why cats liked the video was the half-naked women in the video. So again, when did we ever look at the half-naked women to tell us if a song is dope or not? And then somebody was like, oh, come on, Kill, Amplified wasn't that bad. And I hate when mofos do that. It wasn't that bad. And I always give this equation. Please forgive me, y'all, if it's too graphic. If you get finished having sex with a woman for the first time and you ask, how was it? And she says, it wasn't that bad. Brother, you did not do, okay? It was not a thumbs up routine. So don't hit me 20 years later talking about, come on, Kill, the album wasn't that bad. Well, if it wasn't that bad, you should have said it was dope. So there you go right there. That was my thing for Q-Tip. I think Tip always really struck me as the dude who wanted to try different things. He's the abstract, you know what I mean? So it was shocking to me at first because I always tell people, it's like if you're at dinner and you ask the waiter for a Sprite and he brings you a water, it's nothing necessarily wrong with the water. It's just you had your mouth ready for that Sprite. So when I saw Q-Tip solo, it was like, oh, this is it. Like, this is gonna be the, and it wasn't that. You know what I mean? So again, I'm not calling Vibrant Thing and Breathe and Stop whack, but it's just not what I expected. And I told somebody on Twitter, if Q-Tip came to your city talking about I'm only performing the Amplified album, I don't know how many people are going to that show. You know what I mean? So that's my thing. What was y'all take on Amplified? And like where y'all were at and with the crew of people you were with, was that the, you know, and people like, well, Kill, that's just you and your crew. I'm like, well, nah, bro. At the time I was on the radio and nobody was calling up to request any Q-Tip. So if you want to say it was me in the Baltimore, DMV, Delaware area, then that's cool. But don't try to make it seem like it was just me who wasn't feeling this whole brand new Q-Tip. So Porsche, what was Tip like for you when you heard Vibrant Thing and Breathe and Stop and then eventually Amplified?
So for me, like, I remember when that dropped, and for me it was it was good for a very fleeting moment, if that makes sense. And it was only good when, like people on your Twitter said, Kill, like a club banger. It just was a vibe. And then once you were out of that environment, it was gone. Like you weren't ever leaving thinking, oh damn, I gotta go home and listen to that Vibrant Thing again, or I want to hear Amplified. Like it just wasn't a memorable album like that. I think I agree with you. Like Q-Tip tries different things. He sees what works, what doesn't. I think there was something, people thought there was a formula back then. I remember it so clearly. I think actually might be attributed to Puffy and the whole shiny suit thing. And people just wanted club bangers all the time. And Q-Tip dabbled in that. And it didn't really work for him because I personally feel like it's an unnatural lane for him. It's not where he really knows and is comfortable executing in. So for me, I wasn't too thrilled with Amplified. I'd never go back to that album, like ever. And you know, I love Q-Tip for everything that he's done for the genre, all the contributions. And we're still finding out more stuff that Q-Tip had a hand in, but Amplified wasn't it for me. It just wasn't a memorable album at all for me.
Right. Now, bro, what about you? You down to ATL? How was it down there for you?
So it's funny because I didn't think about this till just now. I remember Frank Ski V103 played one or two of the joints off of there that morning. He was like, man, this is very artsy. So following off the heels of, you know, some lackluster, well, I shouldn't say lackluster, but the last two Tribe albums weren't what we were expecting. So to hear Vibrant Thing and Breathe and Stop, I'm like, I'm good, man. You know, it didn't do it for me. The only song that I play all the time is Let's Ride. I love that joint. Yeah. But other than that, it wasn't received with much fanfare.
All right. Now, why do y'all think that is? Because again, like I really want the more to the show for us to kind of dissect. Okay, the three of us, and again, the three of us I know mean it. Then I think other people say it just kind of because it's kind of cool to say. You know, we want our artists to grow. We want them to, you know, step outside the box. But what was wrong with Tip? Like, what did he do wrong trying to step outside the box? Was it like Porsche said, like kind of going for that Puffy, like the formula, like I'm gonna just do the recipe right now? Or, you know, where did Tip go wrong in this?
I think it was too bubbly. You know, the sound just wasn't, and then it don't have to be hard because I love, for instance, the Renaissance. I love that album. I'm talking about pretty much everything on it. He starts off with like a rock banger, Johnny's Dead, and it's just hard guitars and everything. So I think Q-Tip. I'm gonna say this because I'm sure you're gonna bring up a particular artist. I think artists go through. Artists are already different from most people. And a lot of times they have a lot of free time to explore different movies and see the world and just be exposed to a whole lot of stuff. So you have that aspect of it, but then you also have artists are also arrogant, where they think they're just smarter than the average guy. And so I think sometimes they get too smart for their own good, and then they lose their fans. Now, I'm not telling you to stay in the box and do what pleases me. You can do what you want to do. I just ain't gonna buy it.
Right. What do you think, Porsche? Why do you think Tip, ventured down? Is because I have some joints, and I'll send it to you. I had a couple of joints that never came out that, Dilla had done for Tip. And I know from being at the radio station, hearing those, if I played you these joints, and I'll send them to y'all tonight, you would have been so hyped coming off the Love Movement, because these joints are just bananas. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So we were all hyped, like, oh, okay. And I remember Q-Tip was like calling himself the Lone Ranger. Like, he had a couple of white labels that were out it was like the Lone Ranger. Like, and we was like, yo, this is gonna be crazy. And then again, here environment thing, it's like, yo, you in the foot right now, like, because like you said, Bird, coming off the Love Movement and Beach Rhymes of Life, if not like people were like on this Midnight Marauders low and high of Tribe, So, but especially for me, hearing those Dilla joints, it's like, yo, this Tip album is going to be crazy. So, Porsche, what do you think, or why do you think Tip decided to go left instead of going right?
Honestly, to me, I always think that these kinds of pushing the envelope and those kind of moves are more money driven. I could be really wrong, but it just seems that way. Going from where you were and then having this type of album, I just feel like he took a stab at it and hoped it worked, and then it didn't. And it was one of those things. I think it was money driven, to be honest. I think he saw how commercial success is and tried to do it. That's all.
All right, cool. The next brother I got up, one of my favorite MCs ever, out the city of Wind, Chicago, Common Sense. Now, Common is one of my favorite MCs. You know what I mean? Like, for a while, I probably haven't done my top 10 list, probably updated it, but the last time I did it, probably 4 or 5 years ago, he was in my top 10. Like, I love Common. He's one of my favorite MCs ever, coming off of Resurrection, One Day It'll All Make Sense, and then, for Water Like Chocolate. When it got to Electric Circus, I literally was like, what the fuck? What just happened? Like, I have no idea I know what happened. Medusa happened.
Yeah,
I get that. Medusa happened. Erykah Badu happened. He looked into them green eyes, and it was a wrap. And it just went downhill. Next thing I know, he's doing videos with deaf women in a 1974 Dodge Dart. It just wasn't a good look. The crochet sweaters and all of that. And for me, I think Electric Circus would be the album that I have tried to like the most out of any other album, because I was such a Common fan at that time. Like, I literally remember hearing the album and hating it, then being like, let me try it again. And I tried again a couple of months later. I literally probably spent 2 years of my life trying to like this album. And it just can't happen. I just gave up after a while. It's just whack to me. I know there are people out there who love it, but trust me, if you love Electric Circus, you are in the minority of fans. You are in the minority. I never say always and never, but most Common people did not rock with that. And one of the things that we're going to see through a lot of these artists is that after they go left, it's kind of like, it's almost like that scene in Men's Society when Bill Duke is like, you done fucked up, right? Because they eventually come right back. Because you hear Electric Circus and then you hear B, and it's the total opposite of everything that Electric Circus just was. And I think it's in the song They Say, where Common says something like, yeah, they said the crochet pants and the sweater was whack. They heard the corner and said that nigga's back. Like, even Common knew he fucked up. Like, he knew I got to go back. So when you look at, what was that thing? I forgot the video, whatever was the last video from like Water for Chocolate. And then you see the corner, it's like 180 degree change. You know what I mean? And I remember after Electric Circus, I was looking straight like, yo, this dude dead in the water to me. I'm watching Chappelle's show one night and him and food. I'm blown away. I'm like, yo, like, we may have to do a show about the greatest comeback albums ever, because B may be one of the greatest comeback albums ever. Like, it went from me not caring nothing about Calm to like, yo, when is the album coming? And then here in the corner, it was like, yeah, he's back, like back to his right mind. But of course, him and Erica broke up. So again, just looking at, you know, Vern, what about you? What do you think of Electric Circus?
I hated it. And I so today, as I drove around, I listened to Calm. I listened to One Day It All Makes Sense, Like Water for Chocolate. And I listened to Electric Circus because, to be honest with you, I've never listened to that whole album in my life. And I will never listen to it again. But I think the problem is because I was kind of wrestling in my mind with what you said initially about changing their styles. And really, after Can I Borrow $1 and Resurrection, Calm on the albums after that weren't like they were the first two. He was more of a freestyle cypher type MC to me on those first two. So like Water for Chocolate and One Day It All Makes Sense, we're headed in that he was dabbling in different religions, learning about knowledge of self, you know, just all this different stuff. And I think the problem is because he's, like I said, he talked about the same stuff, but I think he was with Quest and all these musicians, you know, jazz musicians, whatever you want to call, and they just totally went left or center. I mean, it's like, man, what are you doing? What was I say? And it reminds me of when you go to college. You know, the dude, Kill, you hung out with him or whatever back in Philly, and he was doing whatever, and he realizes, oh, you still eating swine? You you get a different change of thought, and so now you just all off. I remember for about 2 weeks, I stopped eating meat. I was eating tofu because we started hanging out with Arrested Development, Netflix, and just dabbling in different things or whatever. So my family was looking at me like, man, what is wrong with you? But I quickly came back and made my B album real quick because I ain't have enough money to be eating tofu or whatever. So I think just experimenting and, you know, got a couple of dollars in his pocket. And you got to think too, he went from Chicago to New York and hanging with all the boreholes and all that stuff. So all that had to do with it. I don't know if I'm asking you a question. I'm rambling.
No. In fact, what you said brought up a great point that I never thought about before. Because to be honest with you, at first I always like water like chocolate. What is it called?
Like water for chocolate.
Like water for chocolate. All right, like water for chocolate. I always liked it. In the beginning, I was like, it's cool, but One Day It'll All Make Sense is probably my favorite Calm album. I've told people about why and all that, but it's a very boom bap album. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So when I heard like Water for Chocolate, it seemed more neo-soulish, but it was still dope. So just in what you said is the first time I'm thinking like Calm kind of did come out that box from going from One Day It'll All Make Sense to like Water for Chocolate. Because like you said, he was hanging around Quest and all that. Because on One Day It'll All Make Sense, he had that one song that the Roots did all night long with Erykah Badu doing the hook. And I think that's when he said he met Erykah. So that was a jump because remember, he stopped messing with No ID. Yep. You know, No ID didn't do anything on like Water for Chocolate. That was just Dilla and the Soulquarians. So that really could be an example of Calm coming out of his box almost, you know, but still making a very dope album. Then Electric Circus is just some old next shit. I don't know what that was, but I never thought about it like that. But that is a good point of how he could come out of his box and still make dope music. I don't know what the hell Electric Circus was. Porsche, what were your thoughts on Calm and Electric Circus and all that?
Yeah, I didn't like Electric Circus either at all. I think it was supposed to be a concept album, and I think like it's hard for me to even like assume what it was or have an opinion about what it was because like this is the person who gave us I Used to Love Her, and this is the person who gave us like a lot of really like Bitchin' You, you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden now we have this like completely out of pocket sort of album, but yeah, like all I can chalk it up to is that it was a concept album and it just didn't work for Common because that's not maybe the style that Common was for so long. And then it was just too out of the box for the fans. That's what I think.
And it's funny because I always tell people this. If you get in a relationship with somebody and y'all like totally different, one of y'all is gonna lean towards the other. So if you a hood dude and you dating a church girl, either you gonna start going to church or she gonna start hanging in the hood. Like somebody's gonna rub off on the other. And I think Kanye was just so open from Badu that it kind of was just like kind of almost like whatever she wanted. Now, it's funny because my philosophy, because I felt like 3000, and we'll talk about Outkast next, got doper after messing with Erykah Badu. Now, here's my philosophy on that. 3000 hit it. Common didn't. Common and Badu never had sex. You know what I mean? So, you know, their whole thing was like, no, we're just, you know, loving each other from afar. 3000 done had a kid with the girl. So, because people always be like, all right, Kill, if that's your philosophy that Badu ruins rappers, then what happened to 3000? I'm like, well, he got something. Like, there's the difference. But let's talk about Outkast, because Outkast to me is one of the few people who constantly change every album, but continually make dope music. I see the cast in the back and continually make dope music. But here's the thing. Along the way, Cast loses fans, but I think then they also gain fans. Because I know a lot of dudes I knew like back in Philly on the corner, they stopped rocking with Outkast after ATLians. I know dudes, hip-hop heads, who have never heard of Stankonia, who have never heard of Quimini. They was like, yo, your man on David Letterman with a fucking football pads on his show. Like, I'm not rocking with dude. Like, but I felt like, again, and the numbers don't lie, well, they can't lie, but I don't think they do lie in Cass's scenario, that more people would buy albums. So I think they would lose fans, but gain fans. So what do you think is different about Outkast? Like, I even trying to listen to Electric Circus to get past the beats. Like, I don't feel like Kanye was even spitting, but where you hear Return of the Gangster, 3000, like after Badu, I felt like that nigga like got better. Like he went through a time warp or something and just got 10 times better, you know, than what he was before. But they did change. I remember the first time I heard Bombs Over Baghdad, I was like, yo, this shit is whack. What is this? What is this? 120 beat per minute. It's a gospel choir. Now it's one of my favorite songs. And it's not like I had to try to make myself like it, but I just had to kind of, when I listened to a new Outkast album, I just knew I had to open up my mind. Like, you cannot go into an Outkast album like, okay, I'm getting Southern Playlistics. Oh, I'm getting ATLians. Oh, I'm getting the Quimini. You just gotta be open-minded. So why do y'all think Outkast was able to grow and do so many things that's different? Because Vern, just behind you, Southern Playlistics, these dudes are smoking weed, they looking at the package store, you got Benz and Beamer, they talking about stealing cars. I always felt like Outkast was like the Cosby Show. Like, you got to watch them grow up. You know what I mean? Like, it was like we started here and we ended here. You know, we're talking about dealing with our baby mama's mama. Like, they were, to me, the only group to really, you could sit back and watch the growth. And along those lines, there was never a dip off, you know, in the quality of music they perform. Vern, you're from Atlanta. Tell me it's the water. Tell me it's the SWATs. Tell me what it is that made Outkast be able to keep changing every album and continue to make dope music.
A couple of things, because really they didn't necessarily change. They, like you said, they just grew. Because you got to think, Crumbling Herb was initially supposed to be about weed, but Big Rube was like, "Nah, man, y'all got to give me more than that." So I'm gonna say, you got to think, Big and Dre were the youngsters of the whole Dungeon family. You got Big Rube, you got Pat, Ray, Rico, you got Goody Mob, all them cats in their ear feeding them different things on life. So yeah, they talked about weed and smoking and hitting chicks and stuff on Southern Playlistic, but they also talked about on only so much time in this crazy world and just talking about how our lives are short. And if you think about the song Deep, I mean, that was a deep song about some real stuff. Swine got my folks blind like Stevie. Me be wondering when I'm going to see the end. So each one was a progression. And then as I got older, I really think the reason why they got to experiment but remain dope is because of Antoine Patton. I'm sorry. He was that counterbalance to, if Dre wanted to go up into the stratosphere, just floating around somewhere, Big Boy always pulled it back down. So you had that balance of, I know 3 Stacks is a dope lyricist, so I ain't gonna really focus on the turban on his head, cause Stacks still got the Atlanta ball caps tipped to the side and giving us that. So it was that they got to play off of each other, and I think that's what kept them. Because I believe this too. Now that I think about it, no matter how wild Dre wanted to get, he still had to live up to the standards of Big Boy, to a certain degree, to keep that streak. So that's just my theory on it.
All right, no, that's a good point. Porsche, what about you with Cass? Why are they still dope?
I think it's like Vern touched on kind of everything when he said that, like everything he just said. But for me, I think it was the chemistry between Andre and Big Boy always seemed to get better from album to album. Like you could feel the chemistry and how well they gelled together. And I think also the reason why it never really kind of worked out badly for them was because they've always pushed the envelope. From Southern Playlistic to ATLians, like it was just so different, but it was everything about that album, like ATLians, works together to give you the ATLian experience that they want you to have, like the electronic-ish sound and the different components of it, from cover art to just track list, like everything. And then Aquemini, again, like when you look at the cover art, you're like, oh man, like these guys are back and this is a new sort of different type of album. I think they set a precedence with the way they dressed, with the way they sort of did interviews at the time. Andre, getting up at the Source Awards and sort of putting the South on the map like that. Like they demanded the respect. So whatever they did at that time, their fans were open to that. And then the fans were putting more fans onto it, like, well, who would become more fans? You know what I mean? Like, it was just, for Outkast, it was a domino effect that really worked well for them. And they executed each and every single album brilliantly. And I'm not even one that loves all of Outkast's albums. Like, I don't like Idlewild, but I like all the other ones.
Idlewild. Like, I'm like, I like give Calm a pass. Like, I let him skip over Electric Circus. We all have a hand. I don't even, anything after Speaker Box, I don't even,
like, that's what I'm saying is, like, I'll always check for Outkast, but they don't necessarily always produce amazing albums, but they're still always an amazing group, if that makes sense, or duo. And they're one of the only ones that are like that. I think the only others would be Mobb Deep, maybe. Okay. Because after Juvenile Hell, they still had, everyone still loved them, or they gained all of the fan base that way. So for me, Outkast is just, they're brilliant. They're brilliant.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead, bro.
To me, Outkast is one of the few, how hip hop fans always, they'll go see the Rolling Stones and Outkast is one of the ones that fits into that mold where it doesn't matter because they produce so much brilliance that, okay, yeah, I'm gonna check for that. Go ahead, okay, my bad.
No. I was gonna say, I think the thing with Mobb is that nobody even remembered Juvenile Hell. So I know hip hop heads to this day who really believe the Infamous was their first album. You know what I mean? Because half the people I know don't even remember Hit It From the Back.
And some people don't even remember that Idlewild existed.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like a lot of people are just like, oh yeah, there was Southern Playlistic. Like even if you take away everything Outkast did after Aquemini, they're still gonna be that great. Like it's just they couldn't miss. Miss.
Vern, to your point, I think the big balance thing is perfect. Like you said, that even though 3000 could spit, it still was. I always still related to Big. I'm like, Big, like you said, still got on the fitted. Big is still smoking his weed. Big is still in the boom boom room in the strip club. Like he's still hood. So you're right with the balance. And then too, you made a good point about, and I should have said this in the beginning of the show about rappers changing. It really is just about growth. You know what I mean? So it's really not more so change, but it's more so because the whole Pusha thing started with how long can he sell drugs? Doesn't he have to grow? So I want to, for people watching, I want to put that out there as not just rappers change, but people wanting their rappers to grow. It's just most of the times when they grow, sometimes people grow. When I started going to church, I didn't lose friends, but some of my friends, I guess, respected my growth that they just kind of stopped inviting me places because they was like, yo, we don't want to mess you up with what you doing. You know what I mean? Now, my friends looked at it like it's a change. They didn't look at it like, oh, Kill's going to church, he's growing. It's just like, oh, this nigga out here with this girl now, Tanya got him going to church type of thing. You know what I mean? So we're talking about growth. And Porsche, you're 100% right with the cover art, because if you can see behind me, there are no other hip hop albums up here. These are all just old classic albums, except Outkast. Because this cover art to me is like right there with all the classics, you know, of back in the day.
Like the ATLians, do you have the ATLians accessible?
Yeah.
Your encyclopedia of vinyl over there, like your endless supply. The thing with the ATLians cover is like it looks like a movie poster.
Right.
Like to me, that looks like a like it could double up as a movie poster. Aquemini could be a painting. Like these guys are just so much attention to detail. I guess I don't know who's responsible for coming up with these kinds of artworks and this kind of thing, but it worked for them. And the thing is it matches the way they present themselves as well.
Right.
Does that make sense? Like Andre shows up in these like what people call like crazy outfits, but it works. Like it just works.
Yeah, and I think even if people have never seen the for younger folk, the liner notes of ATLians was actually a cartoon.
There you go.
You know what I mean? That I thought was just crazy at the time. And then one of the things I always loved is on the front it has the greetings Earthlings, and it's telling you about 3000 and Big Boy. And the thing I always love is they said 3000's power is to see through the bullshit. You know what I mean? And I used to always be like, yeah, that's my magic power. I can see through the bullshit. Fuck seeing walls. I just see through y'all bullshit. So I thought that was dope too. Now here's another artist, and it's kind of going a different way. I'm talking about the intelligent hoodlum, Tragedy Khadafi. Because when Trag first came out, 1990, it was arrest the president. He's a drug dealer. He was the intelligent hoodlum. This dude was kicking knowledge itself. You know what I mean? Everything was good. I look up, and by 97, this nigga is the drug dealer. He's Khadafi. You know what I mean? He went from arresting the president, he's the drug dealer, to now, nigga, you the drug dealer, And I think for me, it's kind of hard because I never was a big Tragedy fan. You know what I mean? Like, I knew him from, being down with the Juice Crew. I knew him from being on In Control with Marley's first album, everything like that. And of course, I liked the first album. But I don't think I ever took him, I guess, serious as being, Khadafi, and now rolling with CNN and Mobb Deep and, kind of being a big homie. And maybe he was. This is what we talk about when we talk about people fronting in hip hop. Maybe this dude always was a drug dealer and he was just fronting because it was like, oh, at this time in hip hop, that pro-black shit is working, so I need to go this way. But I'm really this dude over here. Or was it, I really am the dude who cares about black people, but now I'm like, that don't sell no more, so let me go over here and be a drug dealer. So I don't know if y'all were big Tragic Khadafi fans, but I just thought it was kind of bugged because I had said the same thing on Twitter. I said, well, I don't think Fonte fans would appreciate if his next album was about him selling drugs. You know what I mean? I think Fonte fans would be like, whoa, this ain't Tay. You know what I mean? But in the Intelligent Hoodlums scenario, that's exactly what happened. Like, this dude went from being the positive dude to becoming the drug dealer. Now, again, I can't speak on his fans. I don't know if he had a lot of fans in the first place. I know Fonte has a lot of fans, but I just found that one kind of interesting because it was the flip. And everybody on Twitter was like, come on, OG, you can't go from being positive to negative. And I'm like, why can't you? I knew a lot of good dudes. There were dudes who I went into ninth grade, went into high school with, ninth grade nerds.
Yeah.
Getting beat down. By the time we graduated high school, these niggas is packing guns. They rob people. So I'm like, why can't you go, I guess, backwards from being the good guy to becoming the bad guy? And again, this growth was always about, I had to tell people on Twitter this, about the fans. Like, when people were like, oh, I don't mind a Pusha T, I'm like, but have you bought a Pusha T album? Let me define that. If you have not purchased at least 10% or 20% of his catalog, then you're not a fan of me. You know what I mean? So we're talking about the Intelligent Hoodlum fans, and it's hard because I brought the first album. But Vern, what do you think about Tragedy or Intelligent Hoodlum going from good to bad?
I would be disingenuous if I really spoke on it, because I remember Intelligent Hoodlum, but I've never purchased any of his stuff, and I really couldn't name 5 of his songs.
I feel you, brother. I feel you, good brother. Porsche, what about you? Do you have
same thing? Like I've by your definition, I'm not a fan because I haven't purchased any of the.
And again, I didn't mean it like that. Like I want you all's opinion.
No, but I mean, I just don't have an opinion because I don't. If you play, I don't know him like that.
Well, Kill, like you said, it can be done. Like you can go from positive to negative. I think at that time there was like a window where that could have happened and you could have been successful at it. And I don't know how many, like you said, I'm not sure how many tragedy fans there are because it's not really brought up, to be honest, like in conversations. So I'm not really sure. Like while some of us do check the music or play it back, but how much are we really talking about it? Not a whole lot. Like myself, I barely. Like maybe if there's like a rank 'em on Twitter, I'll be able to rank it compared to some other albums. But to talk intelligently on it, I can't. Yeah.
Hey, Kill. You mentioned Fonte. Have you ever heard the song "Never Leave" by Little Brother?
Nah, probably not.
You need to check it out. So Fonte is spitting, and you would swear he's talking about cooking up work in the kitchen, slanking it on the corner, and all that stuff. And then he's like, man, everybody like, Fonte, man, you tripping, whatever. He's talking about selling Krispy Kreme donuts. And what that says to me is that you can, if you're dope, you can do different things.
Well, and keep in mind, I wasn't saying he couldn't do it, but
I know.
How would you as a Fonte fan take it if Fonte's next album was he got a second divorce? He was like, yo, fuck this good guy shit. This is for the birds. I ain't making no money. Yo, I'm out here with Pusha. We in these streets out here from Virginia to North Carolina. We get this money. You know what I mean? We're going to stop by J. Cole's studio, drop off some coke. Like, how would you feel as a fan if he literally did switch and started talking about coke? And not even being fake. Him being like, nah, yo, my second divorce ain't work. It's my second divorce. I got child support, nigga. I got kids. My sons ain't eating. How would you feel as a fan if you brought a Fonte album and that's what he was talking about? He's not trying to freak it like it's Krispy Kreme donut. No. He's talking about pushing weight. He's basically new Pusha T. Like this nigga, him and Pusha T, quantum leap and jump bodies. And now Pusha is like, hey, my son, I'm trying to teach him how to tie a tie. And Pusha, and Fonte talking about I'm moving this weight with Benny and them Griselda niggas. Like, how would you take that as a Fonte fan?
All right, so I don't listen to a lot of drug rap, so I ain't gonna act like I just love it. But I'll tell you this: if he was as witty and as funny and dope as he is on everything else he is, I would still probably check for it. Because, like I said, I don't listen to a lot of certain rappers, but I respect their craft. Like Pusha is dope. I mean, he's crazy dope. So I love the way he puts things together, and to still hold our interest after all these years talking about cooking up birds. There's a skill involved in that. It ain't just. It's a whole bunch of other rappers that all they talk about is cooking up work in the kitchen, but they ain't at his level. Right. But I mean, because I don't listen to most rappers that talk about that. I can't say that I would be bumping Fonte as a kingpin now.
All right. Speaking of that joint, if y'all haven't heard Brother Ali, Morning in America, he's got a joint on here called Need or Not. And it's similar to what you was talking about Fonte. Like, you think he's talking about one thing, but he's talking about something completely, totally different. So that's dope. Next up, my man. I call him the Rosa Parks of hip-hop for dark-skinned niggas. Big Daddy Kane. Okay? Now, Big Daddy Kane, for young folk out there who don't know, Big Daddy Kane was one of the nicest MCs ever. He's number 6 to me on my top 10 of all time. But by his third album, Taste of Chocolate, this dude started going somewhere else. Now, here's the thing that I had to realize. Growing up in hip-hop, I used to think that these rappers were my age. So at 14 in 9th grade, Kane is 20. So this dude is already, damn near about to graduate college if he was going to college. So I used to think these dudes was my age. So by the time that this, his third album, Taste of Chocolate, comes out, this dude is 23, 24. Maybe he's on his Playboy joint. Like, I remember seeing the Heavy D Don't Curse video, and we was all like, yo, why Kane got this silk shirt on? Like, what's wrong with this dude? Like, yo, what's going on? But maybe he was growing. But you know what? As the fans, we hated it.
Yes.
Like, we don't like this growth. We don't like the beats. We don't like none of this. Then he eventually went on. He did Taste of Chocolate and Prince of Darkness. He had songs with Allison Williams, which is an R&B singer with one of my favorite songs, Just Call My Name. And we looking at the track list like, it's almost like Eddie Murphy dad and Raw. He's like, you hanging out with Danny Terrio. Like, yo, why you got a song with Allison Williams, my guy? Like, what's going on? And he didn't, again, Redman said this once during one of his skits. I think it was on Dare's the Dark Side. He said something to the extent of, you rap mofos always want to try to go pop, and then when it don't work, then you come running back to the underground. You know what I mean? Because that's essentially what happened with Kane. He had to go back. His next album was Looks Like a Job 4. Had Large Professor, Easy Mo B, the Trackmasters before they were the Trackmasters that everybody knows. I always try to explain to folk that Trackmasters had beats way before just looping was popular. And then eventually he ended up with Daddy's Home, which has the Posse Cut Show and Prove that people may have heard, may not heard. Source Money, Young Jay-Z, Shaheem, Big Daddy Kane, and Old Dirty Bastard. So again, here's another rapper who grew and the fan base was not feeling it. Porsche, what were your thoughts on Big Daddy Kane going through his Playboy, taking pictures with Madonna, having
sex book?
Yeah, again, unnatural. And I think, I mean, you again explained it all pretty well. I think, again, he took a stab at it and it didn't really work. I feel like rappers try things that are kind of popping at the time, and then they hope that their fans are like, yeah, I can rock with this, like this is good. But then when they see it doesn't work out, they're like, oh damn, let me just go back to what I'm good at and what I know works for my fans, you know? And I think that's what happened with Taste of Chocolate. I think it was, what year did that come out? Like 90?
Taste of Chocolate came out, I want to say it was like
90, I think. I'm pretty sure. So if you think about it, like, yeah, R&B and incorporating R&B and that kind of whole thing was becoming a thing then. So of course, Kane being Kane was like, yeah, I can do this. And then there's also probably like an ego thing, like, oh, I can do anything and be good at it. And then they do it and it doesn't work out that way. So then they're like, okay, never mind. Like, I'll just stick to what I know works. So that's what I think happened. I think it was just, again, it was popular at the time, tried it out, didn't work, came back.
And the wild part is we're gonna see a lot of that. Tried it out, didn't work, came back.
Yep.
A lot of these artists. Vern, what was your thoughts on Kane?
My. Joker got a song with Barry White, man.
Right. That was crazy, man. Like, yo, don't pop slow jams no more, man.
What is you doing, man? Nah, bro. I'm looking at the track list and nah.
Right.
It just didn't do it for me. I mean, Kane, he went totally to that I'm the lover type dude. And now, mind you, this is one of the fiercest battle rapper, lyrical cats in the game. So when he did this, we was like, we'll get at you, bro. We just go back and listen to Raw. Right.
And it's almost like, now looking back, I almost feel like you could not see it coming, because even on the second album, it's a Big Daddy thing when he had to join I Get the Job Done with Teddy Riley.
I work, like, yeah.
That stuck out like a sore thumb on that album. It's like everything else was boom bap, and then you got this Teddy Riley joint. You know what I mean? So he was almost getting into that lover zone then. You know what I mean? Like, and then the whole Madonna and the sex book and all that, I think it just went left. Next up, the mighty Mos Def. We talking about one of the most bad people out of Brooklyn, New York. Had the group with his brother and sister Udi. I think it was like UTD or something. Then, of course, rocking with the Bush Babies, Tribe, De La, of course, Black Star, Black on Both Sides. And then came the New Danger. Now, I didn't hate the New Danger. I didn't love the New Danger. There were songs on there. And it's wild. He had this song called The Panties and something else. He had like slow jams that I actually put on some of my slow jam tapes. So again, it wasn't that it was whack, but it was definitely most stepping outside the box. Now, here's the thing. Around that time, I'm off the air. I'm married, so I'm not around a whole bunch of hip hop heads every day. I really don't know what the Mos Def crowd was kind of feeling like that. Like at that time in those early 2000s, I was kind of like living on OK Player and different like hip hop chat rooms and things like that. So I really don't know the vibe of it. I didn't hate it, but it's kind of like with most, I wasn't mad at it because I think one of the things, like, everybody, Vern, you said it, everybody doesn't have what Pusha has to talk about drugs every time. Mm-hmm. Everybody doesn't have what most in 3000 have to be able to do different things. Mm-hmm. Like, even on Black on Both Hand Sides, Umi Says is one of my favorite songs on it. Yes, it is. Yeah, no boom bap in that whatsoever. Yeah. Like, Mos is one of those MCs who literally can sing and we don't mind. He's not a Drake. Like, it doesn't come off Drake-ish. It doesn't come off like I'm trying to get a night commercial or I'm doing this to get on the radio. I think it just kind of comes natural to Mos. And that may have been the problem with cats like Common and Tip. Maybe it just didn't come natural to them, you know, and it may because they're all running in that same crew. So maybe, if we all run in the Apartment 5B crew and I see Vern get on stage and start singing, I may be like, well, you know what, goddamn it, let me get up there and sing. You know what I mean? Not realizing Vern got that je ne sais quoi, whatever over there that he could do it, that I can't do it, you know? So maybe Common was looking at Mos like, look at this nigga up there singing. I always wanted to sing. Let me try. Nah, nigga, you can't, you know? So for me, I wasn't mad at Mos doing that. And maybe it's because at certain times I looked at Mos as a rapper second and as an actor first.
That's what, yes.
I don't know if that kind of does something to it for me, at least, where maybe other people see him as a rapper first and an actor second. Like,
I see him as a rapper first and an actor second.
Because I know people who were like, oh, he was in he played the heart surgeon on some HBO.
Yeah.
The wild part is man, hip hop niggas like, oh, that nigga trying to be like such and such acting now. And I'm like, nah, that nigga was acting before hip hop. That nigga was acting, you know, whatever. But what were your thoughts on Mos Def? Because at the end of the day, Black on Both Sides and The New Danger are totally 180 degrees.
Yeah, they're totally different. But again, it works for him. He's kind of like an Outkast type, like you said. And I don't know if it's his style or what it is that he can pull off a lot of different ways of delivery and still make it sound good. I've always liked Mos. Of course, I like Black on Both Sides better than The New Danger, but I like you said, it's not a bad album by any means. But when you put it up against Black on Both Sides, obviously you're like, wait a minute, I can see how people wouldn't really like it, but it's not as bad as some might say.
Right, no doubt. Yeah. Vern, what are your thoughts on the whole Mos New Danger switch?
Yeah. Mos has always been a different cat. Like you said, he performing arts type dude. I think of him as an MC, but I also think of him as an actor and a performer. And it's not a surprise. It's not a far stretch from what he's always been. So that's just that nigga Mos. You know, that's how cats. Same way with 3 Stacks. That's you know him. You know, but if you want to, so help me God, I still murder you. You know what I mean? If it comes down to it. So Mos can get away with it. One of my favorite songs that he did was with Georgia and Maldro, Roses. You know, it's pretty dope. But Mos can get away with it because that's who he is, and people will suffer that because he's still dope.
Right. All right. Let's go to R&B real quick. D'Angelo. I know folk. When Brown Sugar came out, everybody loved D'Angelo.
Yeah.
That's 95. I think Voodoo came out 2000. Mm-hmm. I remember I was still on the radio. Some of my people from Brooklyn came out. They was like, what's this shit, man? This Brown Sugar Part 2. Like, I don't want this. And I was like, oh man, this is great. This is a musician's album, musician album, this is this and this and that. and cats weren't feeling it. You know, of course, because again, I don't think people look at it like it stuck out like it was a sore thumb because it's such an incredible song. But How Does It Feel does not sound like the rest of the album, being Raphael Sadiq produced it in his studio versus the rest of it. And also Devil's Pie stood out like a sore thumb on Voodoo to me because, of course, it was off the Belly soundtrack and Primo did it in D&D, while the rest of Voodoo was recorded at Electric Lady with the Soulquarians. And then to Black Messiah, you know what I mean? So, whereas I love all 3 albums, but the D'Angelo fans that were there for Brown Sugar were disappointed totally in both of those albums, and at least definitely Black Messiah. I do know people, again, being on OK Play in the early 2000s, Voodoo is the best album ever made. You know what I mean? Of course, I don't agree with that. I believe it's a 5 mic album. It's an incredible album, but the best ever made, nah. But By Black Messiah, people were definitely like, I'm done with D'Angelo. But again, it's the growth. This is the growth we're talking about. He grew from Brown Sugar that he made in Virginia as a teenager. He grew to Voodoo, you know what I mean? And then from that, they said that during the Voodoo times, he wanted to learn how to play guitar, which is why Black Messiah is very guitar heavy. So again, we're just talking growth as an artist, but how do y'all feel about, again, this is just one of my examples of letting the artist grow. We don't want to keep you in a box, but then when they go out, and again, I think both those albums are very dope to me. A lot of people don't like them. Porsche, what are your thoughts on D'Angelo?
I'm one of those people. I'm a D'Angelo Brown Sugar. Like it's a milestone. So Voodoo to me is how Kanye's 808s is to me. It's very hit and miss. Like it's the album that was released that sort of is the divider. Like that's your marker. So it's either pre or post. And that one's sort of your, I don't know how to describe it. Like just some of it's good, some of it's horrible. That's Voodoo for me. And because Voodoo, and it's exactly the same thing that happened with me and with Kanye for me, is after 808s, I didn't check for anything Kanye did. After Voodoo, I didn't check for anything Brown Sugar D'Angelo did. Brown Sugar D'Angelo is the D'Angelo that I know and love. Yeah. And I'm not saying that I appreciate the growth. I absolutely appreciate the growth, and I you know, it just didn't move me like Brown Sugar did. And that's why I can't really rock with it. I rock with albums heavy when they like touch me in a certain way, if that makes sense. You know, like I have to really connect to it in some way. And half of Voodoo and everything after just wasn't there for me.
Did you listen to Black Messiah?
I did. I listened to it I haven't listened to it all the way through. I didn't like it. I didn't like the guitar heavy.
Right.
I didn't like that. It just wasn't, it wasn't Brown Sugar D'Angelo for me. And I was like, what do you, I don't know.
It's funny because I know Vern wasn't a fan of Black Messiah. So I'm wondering, because both of you are saying, as an artist, we don't want to keep you in a box. But Porsche, I kind of hear you saying, I just want Brown Sugar D'Angelo. So
I know, and believe me, like when you told me this topic, I've been thinking about it like for the last few days, and I'm like, God, I'm so annoying because I want artists to grow and try new things, but then at the same time, when it doesn't work, I'm like, God, why did you do that? Why did you try new things?
But I don't think there's anything wrong with that, because the hard part of change is that, and Vern, you could attest this. How long have you been married, Vern?
23 years.
23 years. Me and T just celebrated 19 years. You're gonna grow.
Yep.
I got married at 26. I'm not the same person I was now that I'm 45. You know what I mean? And through those growths, they're not always gonna be happy growths. Some of them growths are gonna be like, nigga, I want the old person back. So I want the 19, kind of like we did the show with 97 Hov. Like I want the 2014 on your back. Like I don't like this 2008. Like, so with growth, so I don't think it's anything bad
at all.
It's one of those things, like, to me, this is just, we have to be careful what we wish for sometimes, like.
I love that D'Angelo was learning guitar, so he made the album guitar heavy. Like, that's brilliant to me. Why wouldn't you want to showcase your efforts and your, what you've learned and how you are and all that kind of stuff? But, like, don't make it that, try to at least still have that Brown Sugar D'Angelo in you, Don't like get rid of it and just leave it out in the 90s.
The wild part is, in defense of D, is that the one thing I can say is this: he learned how to play guitar and he sounds good. Like, that's the thing. Like, to me, if you don't like guitar, I get that, but it's not like if I stop sampling and start playing piano, it's gonna sound horrible. Like, it's gonna sound bad. Like, I'm not listening to Black Messiah like, ooh, that wasn't a good chord, or that wasn't a good note. Like, he's playing guitar.
Oh yeah. And I love that. You
didn't want that, because again, like what I always tell people to keep in mind is that as the artist making the music, Brown Sugar came out in 95. He probably recorded half the songs in 92, 93. You know what I mean? So by the time
he released it at the pinnacle of when R&B was my favorite, and Brown Sugar fit in so perfectly in that. Like, that was a staple album.
Right, but think about
everybody's R&B collection. Like, if you didn't have D'Angelo, go revise that whole library, because where is that album?
But think about it like this. If you made an album in 93, it comes out in 95, and you tore off of it until 97, now it's time to start making a new album. You made that album 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, you're a totally different person if you get married today than versus 6 years, and you got your fans saying, well, go back to what you did 6 years ago.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right.
I'm going to tell you, the biggest thing for me, I'm with Porsche. Brown Sugar, I rocks with. I listened to one song off of what's the name? The last album?
Oh, Black Messiah.
Yeah,
Charade. I love that, but because of the guitars and it gives me a Prince vibe. The biggest thing for me is after Brown Sugar, I can't understand what that nigga's saying. I mean, I'm like, bro, what is you saying? Think about it. Think about the song "This Charade." Do you know what he's saying?
Nah. But it sounds good. It's like Camp Low to me. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. I have no idea, but Lucchini sounds great. No idea what they're saying, what they talking about. They could be talking about killing Barack Obama for all I know. But it sounds great, and we love it when Lucchini comes on. But now I agree with you.
He turned into a mumble singer, man.
I can never understand D'Angelo. Like, you know what I mean? And it got worse throughout time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm not saying Brown Sugar D'Angelo, but he was never one to enunciate his words as another singer might want to enunciate his words. But no, I totally get you on that. Another R&B dude, John Legend. Now, Get Lifted, the first album was very pop, Kanye West. To me, I love that album. 5 Mics to me. Now, the second album, Make Room, you only got one Kanye produced track with Heaven Only Knows, and the rest of it, I'll never forget when it dropped. I played it for some people, and they said, yo, is this nigga got a residency in Vegas? This nigga
sound like a lounge singer. That's what he sounds like.
Yeah. He sounds like a lounge singer on this album. Again, maybe, again, when that album was made, he's coming out with Kanye. Kanye's putting on his all. Maybe now Kanye and John wants to do some different things, but I know a lot of John Legend fans. I don't know a lot of John Legend fans anymore. You know what I mean? I don't know anybody who's like, yo, John Legend's dropping. Like, yo, can't wait for this shit. But when that Get Lifted came out, everybody I knew was rocking with John Legend. So what are y'all thoughts on John Legend going from hip-hop soul to being a lounge singer? Vern?
I'm with you. I bought Get Lifted. That's the only album I own by John Legend. You just said it best. To me, he sounds like a lounge singer or a cruise boat singer. But the thing is, it's working for him. I think he has 10 Grammys. Yeah. I didn't know that till
And that's the crazy part, that is like, he's quietly under the radar. Been like becoming one of the biggest, singers in the world.
On The Voice. He's on The Voice. He's a pop icon. I mean, he's known in all the circles. So, hey, do your thing, bro.
But you know what? It may be like we said with Cass, that he lost fans, but then he gained even more. Yeah. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because I don't think anybody can sit here and tell you, oh, John Legend ain't popular. Like, nah, nigga, he's popular. He just ain't popular with the around the way folk no more than he was. Porsche, what are your thoughts on John Legend?
I actually love it. I love the change. But I'm a sucker for like these cute songs, right? Like, I love You and I love I love these, whatever you guys would probably call them like wedding anthems or whatever they are. I am an absolute sucker for these kinds of songs. So for me, I'm like, give me all of that kind of stuff. Like, I'm going to invite John Legend to my wedding if I ever get married. So, I'm one of those. So I loved John Legend. He just sounded like, it's like he took everything that I loved about like Boyz II Men and then made it current and dope as hell. So for me, I was like, oh, thank God. Like, it's almost like following the path of Boyz II Men for me, which is my favorite R&B group of all time. So I actually love the change. I love it.
And the funny thing is I love the second album. I really like it. It just took a while for it to grow on me. But after that album, I've been more of a John Legend single person. Like, I don't think I can Get Lifted, I love from beginning to end. I can listen to that. Outside of Ordinary People, I can always skip that. That's style music to me. But outside that one song, like, I love the album, that and Make Room. After that, Porsche, I'm with you. I love those songs that he makes, those love songs, because I feel like that's a missing art in today's music. But I can't say I've been a fan of a John Legend album as a whole after that. Of course, you brought him up. Kanye West, 808 and Heartbreak. He does 808 Heartbreak. I swear I'm the only person I know who loved this album. I absolutely love 808 and Heartbreaks. I know everybody else hates it. If we're talking about why I think he made it, his mom died. I think he kind of lost his mind during that album. And not to say that I was excited, but I knew Ye being Ye, he's the type of person to talk about what's going on in his life. So I wasn't mad at the auto-tune. I wasn't mad at any of that because I was more interested. I think in one of the songs he said, I'm on a flight, I'm showing people.
Yeah, I love that.
Of his kids, I'm showing them pictures of my crib. So I just appreciated I knew we were going to get an open and honest Kanye. And to be honest with you, the auto-tune shit, he sounded better than me than T-Pain. If I had to pick an auto-tune singer, I will pick an auto-tune Kanye over auto-tune T-Pain. But I know I'm the minority in that. And then just like we talked about with Kane, he had to come back with my dark, beautiful, twisted fantasy, which I know a lot of people feel like is one of, Ye's dopest albums ever. But Porsche, I can already look in your face and see you were not feeling it.
Like, here's the thing. So coming off of the first, I want to say 3 Kanye albums, right? 808s is his 4th album, right?
Yep.
I was like so excited to hear Kanye. I was like, yes, there's another Kanye album. I put this in and I am like, what in the hell am I listening to? I was like, this sounds like absolute garbage. Like, I can understand where the headspace was because he had just lost his mom. And I know there was a lot of media around that. And there was a lot of analyzing the album and then correlating it to that incident. So I can understand why it is the way it is. It's a somber album, and I don't have a problem with somber albums whatsoever, but like the incorporation of auto-tuning, that's a little weird for me. I don't think it worked, and like I said, it would be like I would play it through, the whole album through, and like, skip. Okay, this is a dope song. Skip. Oh, this is a dope song. Skip. Like it was just so hit and miss for me that that turned me off. I was like, Kanye's done. Like I'm not interested anymore at all in anything.
All right. What about you, Vern? 808?
Yeah. So Portia I'm Echo Portia. I bought the first 3, thoroughly enjoyed them. Album number 4, go cop it. What?
Yeah, I bought a copy of that CD, and I was like, why did I buy this? Like,
what is this? I mean, it had a moment here or there, but I don't listen to that album, and it was the end of my enjoyment of Kanye West music. I couldn't tell you 3 songs on my dark, twisted, Pablo. I'm good, because the thing about it, Kanye started changing as a person from the parts that I found out about him. I'm like, I'm good. I'm gonna stay right here, and I'm good with Kanye.
Right, and it's funny because that's how I feel. The way most people feel about 808 is how I felt about Yeezus. Like I was like, what is this?
Never even heard it.
Yeah.
All right, got 2 more real quick. LL Cool J.
Yeah, I have it.
Jack the Ripper, one of the hardest songs ever. I never forget, there was a movie called Less Than Zero.
Yeah, Going Back to Cali.
And we heard Going Back to Cali, and we all was like, what the fuck is this? Like, what is these horns? I'm going back to Cali. Styling. I'm like, what happened? And then he drops Walking Like a Panther.
Oh my goodness.
Going in, and I'm like, yo, what is wrong with this nigga? And then he comes back when Mama Says Knock You Out. Like again, it's like niggas know, okay, you done fucked up, okay, let me get it back right again, And then I just used to always say every other LL album is gonna be dope. Because then came 14 Shots to the Dome, which was another
a brick.
I mean, like outside the backseat of my Jeep, I don't want to hear anything off that album. So what did y'all feel about the whole Going Back to Cali and the Walking with a Panther? Like, because I felt like I don't know what came first. L came first with it because it seemed like L became the ladies' man before Kane did.
Yeah, you gotta think, I Need Love, yeah.
They both tried to become these ladies' dudes, and it just never worked with either one of them. And I guess Kane either didn't pay attention that it didn't work for L, or like just arrogant enough to say, nigga, I'm nicer than that Queens nigga, so I'm gonna do it the right way.
But it did work for LL because ladies do love him.
I mean,
but it didn't work for him at that point. I know what you mean.
Right. At that moment, I think after I Need Love Off of Bad, ladies love LL. You know what I mean? So I think he just tried to do like Kane did, just try to take it to that next level. And y'all like I Need Love? Yo, I got 3 of them for y'all on this new album.
But he got the joint with Boyz II Men, who he was dirty macking. This is more than Hey Lover.
Yeah. You know, but again, that was the other album. That was after. Every other LL album is gonna be dope.
Boys look like the chick off of How to Get Away with Murder when she just shook her head and discussed.
It's because I'm sorry, I know I'm probably speaking out of turn, but it's because like I love LL Cool J, like early LL Cool J, like 80s LL Cool J, right? And Boyz II Men they're always and forever going to be my favorite R&B group ever. I thought that putting these two together would be just like angels coming down from the heavens and like blessing me with something. And I heard this and I was like, holy shit, I can't listen to this anymore. Like I don't ever want to repeat this song. It's horrible. It's horrible. And I'm a sucker for these like sappy love songs, especially when there's rappers in them.
He smokes blunts too much.
Like I don't know what it was about LL. He's so hit and miss with his like you said, every other album hit and the other it's so weird.
But funny kill, man, we bumped going back to Cali down here. I mean, because it had that knock
up to here. Because up north it was like, yo, niggas never played, like it was like, yo, don't even think about playing that anywhere in a party, in the whip, don't. Yo, so that's dope to hear that y'all would.
Because you got to think, man, we 808 country, you know, Miami based.
Right.
So I remember the dance we used to do off of that. That's why I started laughing when you said it. But going back to Cali.
Okay, so Big had a California anthem, Pac had a California anthem, and LL had a California anthem. LL should have never done that ever because it just, I don't know. He got the Hollywood money. I love Atlanta for what they do, but that one just, I don't know why you guys played it.
I just told you the bump.
It's that 808. That's that Miami bass down there. Now, here's the thing. These are like some other side people because, again, we'll be like, we want you to grow. Talib leaving High Tech. I think that was one of the things for me, at least. Like, I kind of liked the second album. His first album was cool because he was with a hungry ass Kanye. You know what I mean? I forgot the name of the first album. It's around here somewhere. But the second album, I think it was like Ghetto Moments or Sue. I don't even damn know the name of the album. But I just always remember people being like, get back with High Tech. Like and again, like Common, he said that in one of his rhymes. Like, why don't you get with High Tech again? Like that same thing with the Boot Camp Click leaving the beat minds. You know what I mean? So again, these are just more examples of when we, artists grow or change or whatever, and it doesn't work for them. It's funny, me and T used to always be like, I'm a Beyonce fan because of Tanya. She's a singer, so she, like, I don't know how people don't think Beyonce can sing. Like, I think Beyonce's a beast. It's because Tanya being a singer, she shows me things that she does that I probably wouldn't even have heard. So I get how people think she can't sing, but we used to always be like, yo, why don't Beyonce let Michelle and Kelly sing something? Like, why she always Brody in? Then she let Kelly and Michelle sing, and we was like, no, thank you. We'll take all Beyonce from here on out. So, it's things like that. And then here's the flip of a group who never changed and lost all their fans. Public Enemy. These dudes stayed true to exactly what they always talked about. They never fell for a fad. They never tried to change up anything. And the wild part is the fans betrayed them and didn't support anything that they did. Man. So sometimes in life, it just feels like you damned if you do, you damned if you don't. Like, I'm in my belief. And I'll give you this, Vern. P.E. didn't keep up with times.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. I was going to say production-wise, but I don't know if that Chuck D. rhyme style was going to be able to adapt. So even if you had a Public Enemy album in 1994, all produced by DJ Premier, I don't even know if that's gonna be crazy because that Chuck D rhyme style now going up against the Nas's and the Buckshot Jordy, all those different.
He never evolved his style.
Yeah, that wasn't gonna work. But what were you gonna say, bro?
Also, man, I mean, I'm as I don't even want to use that word. I'm aware as anybody, but nigga, have fun sometimes. I mean, bro, I hate people on Twitter who just outraged every day about everything. Like, bruh, go walk a dog. Go take your kid to a Little League game or something, man. Right. I mean, yeah, it's messed up in America, but bruh, where you gonna go? You know what I mean? You know, I get it, but it's like that. Nobody wants to be preached to 20 albums in a row. You know, it just was no balance to it. I mean, and Flav was, I guess
Flav was done by then.
Yeah. You know, so that would, along with Chuck style, just remaining the same. I mean, and Chuck is one of the greatest. You know how we all feel about him, but you know, the time he didn't evolve.
So tell me this. So what we're basically saying is, as an artist, in order for you to grow and for your fan base to, not the majority of your fan base to support you, you've got to also evolve.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So it would have been Chuck D evolving. It would have been, okay, y'all, these Bomb Squad beats like Hank and y'all, if y'all can't get with this new sound, we're going to have to go over here to this producer over here to kind of, and this is one of the reasons why I say Outkast is the dopest group ever. Because to me, Outkast never had to do that. They never had to go to whoever was in at the time. Like when Jay and Nelly and all them, like when Jay talks about moving units, I'm always like, yeah, nigga, but you had to follow the trend. You had to, like, Irv is very firmly in his footing of saying, we had Swiss. Jay wasn't messing with Swiss until DMX was doing these numbers. Then it was like, hey, Swiss, let me get some beats. You know, or then it became after Nori blew up the Neptunes, then it was like, oh, okay, they hot, okay, Pharrell. So I always felt like Jay had to reach out to the dopest people at the time to move those units. Outkast didn't have to do that. Outkast kind of did whatever they wanted to do and made it so dope that people just came to it.
But you also have to factor in with Outkast, they were coming from the South. So that's like a whole different style that was new at the time. It wasn't like, okay, well, we've heard New York style before. We've heard all these rappers come out of New York all the time. Like the South was out the South on the map. So they're like, well, what are you guys doing? Who else is going to follow in your footsteps? Because you guys are like the baby, or, you know, I use that term loosely. That kind of thing. Some people do.
They know they're the pioneers. Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Right. I would say this. Go ahead, Paul. My bad.
No, you're good. I'm done.
So you got to think about this too, Kill. Who produced the first two albums of Outkast?
Organized, and then again,
and they were raised by Organized. So you got a new sound, but it was their sound that they produced for themselves, trained under the tutelage of Organized. So that's how the style kept growing and evolving, but it still didn't totally veer from what you know and love about Outkast.
Right. And again, one of the reasons I give Outkast so much credit is that you have Organized Confusion. My bad. I'm 45, y'all. One of the greatest production trios ever, in my opinion. You lead them and start making beats yourself. And are able to make beats that don't miss a beat. like that's kind of, and again, me being a producer, I don't know if most people get that. Like, that's literally like, Vern, I do all the beats on your album, and you kind of just look over my shoulder, and your next album is just as dope as the album we just did, but you produced everything yourself. Like, that's unheard of. Like, it's the same props I give Havoc. Like, you can't go from not being a producer on Juvenile Hell and then becoming a producer, and you make fucking Shook Ones and you know, all those classic Mobb Deep bangers like that. So I'm 100% with you on Cast. Porsche, did you have anybody else on your list, or did
Lil' Kim? Only because her newest album dropped, and everybody who knows me knows that I love Lil' Kim. I love her. Anything she puts out, I don't care if it's 2023, I will check it out. And I don't know why, because I recognize that her albums have steadily declined over the years, but I'm always just like, I know she's sort of got it, and I'm hoping that it comes back. Like, I don't know why. I'm holding out hope, and I'm confident that it's somewhere in there. I don't know.
That old Mike Tyson fan who keep thinking the old Mike will come back.
I know. And
unless they resurrect Biggie, I think it be done.
Like, here's the thing. So if you listen to Lil Kim's newest album, I would call it like trap at this point. And that's just so, it's so different from, I don't even want to say hardcore. I'll go like La Bella Mafia even. It's just, I don't know why she's changed like to that degree. And I don't know. Again, I appreciate trying to keep up with the times. And I think that I was thinking about this, and because of Lil Kim actually, and I think Jay-Z was so good at sort of keeping up with the changes and evolutionary process of hip hop and rap, that everybody sort of looks to Jay maybe as an example of how to be and how to be successful, but not everybody's Jay-Z. And I don't know. Like, I was so upset about this Lil Kim album. I don't know what else to say, but she's changed. She's definitely one to be mentioned, because I got into a giant back and forth with someone on Twitter that said Lil Kim does everything originally, and Big didn't even write the album Hardcore, and he saw an interview and this and that. And I was sitting there going, okay, then explain this album, because
yeah, sometimes those are the people I don't even respond to. No
yeah.
You think Big don't have anything to do with hardcore, bro?
And also Snoop. Snoop is another one. Doggy Style Snoop, Dogfather Snoop, and Snoop Lion are three completely different people. Just completely different people.
And it's crazy because I know people who rock with some of them Snoop albums. After Doggy Style, I was good. Like, I just was like, I have no urge to hear. Again, I feel like it always comes back to, it's like this 20-year rule, especially on Twitter, that it's like, oh, the album wasn't that bad. But again, I explained to y'all earlier what wasn't that bad really means, so I'm good with Doggy Style, and that's it. Y'all know what's coming next. What have y'all been listening to this week? Porsche, what you been banging this week?
I went back to Retropolitan and Bandana. I've been going back to both of those, and Pete Rock tweeted out, I think it was yesterday, that the EP that Benny and Smoke DZA and produced by him is dropping Friday. So I pre-ordered that, and I'm like so excited again. So yeah, that's what I'll be listening to next week. So when you ask, it'll be that. I'll tell you.
Aaron, what you listening to, bro?
Man, I've been doing research for the show, so I listen to a lot of Outkast, a lot of Common, some Mos Def. Who else I listen to? Just a lot of old stuff, man. Q-Tip, yeah, a lot of Q-Tip.
All right, y'all. This is the one that is going to shock the world. I have been banging. Well, let me start off with a simple album first. I've been listening to Wale's album. Wow, That's Crazy.
How is it?
Let me just say, I'm not a Wale fan. I've never been a fan of his albums. I like Wale's relationship songs, like the joint he got with Usher or the joint Bad. Like, I like Wale in that lane. If we could just get all relationship songs, we good. But I'll say this, the album is solid, man. The album is good. Like, the first song on it stays on repeat. Like, the first 7 to 8 songs are really great. I haven't even gotten past number 8 because I kind of keep going back to those first 8. So that album is pretty good. But the other shocker is Burn This Shorty out of Atlanta, Summer Walker.
Yeah, she's pretty good.
This Summer Walker album, Over It, yo, I love this joint, man. I love it. And again, people are like, but she's not really singing. I get it. Like, I don't come into listening to any R&B person expecting to get a singer. You know what I mean? I'm expecting to get somebody. I don't even know. They got to come up with a name for it because I don't know what they doing. I don't know what Janae Aiko does. Like,
they sing an emoji.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like I don't know.
Whisper singers, yeah.
Yeah, whisper singers. Like, I don't know what it is, but whatever it is, Summer Walker does it the best in my opinion. You know what I mean? I'll say that. It was a joint, Genius had SWV on, and they were all listening to all the new singers. And the two other chicks were like, oh, we love her. And Coco looking like, what? Like, this shit can't sing. Like, you know what I mean? But I feel like if you are going to listen to new R&B, then you can't go into it like, yo, this shit can't hold a note. Let me just tell you off from the door, she can't. Like, forget it, you know? But for what it is, I thoroughly enjoyed the album. And yeah, people like, get the fuck out of here, Kill. I can't believe you're listening to Summer Walker. But again, I will listen to anything, and if it's dope, then it'll stay in rotation. Porsche, give them all the information, good sister.
Just at Cherchez La Porsche on Twitter.
All right, Vern, give them all the info. If you're looking for a house in the ATL, that's the man you need to go see. Instagram
at V the Lone Closer, Twitter V Chandler 10.
All right, and y'all already know what it is with me. Kill 889, Twitter, IG. We'll make beats for food. I will check y'all next week, y'all.
See ya.
All right.